You know what, I think that is great.
I got no thoughts about it.
It doesn't make sense at all.
I think that they're great.
And it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
And I feel a bit bad that I haven't even noticed, but I'm just such a Londoner. You just go heads down, is the Raquel coming? No, go across. I didn't even look at green lights.
We got 7 versions of traffic lights out in Trafalgar Square, and it's quite an achievement to get Trafalgar Square because it's such a classic vista. I'm Martin Lukes. I was the network chair of Transport for London's LGBT network. I wanted to do something big in the capital. I felt TfL had a massive reach. You can't go through the capital without coming in touch with something from TfL. And I persuaded one of the bus companies who worked for TfL to put Rainbow on a bus. From there, a taxi driver contacted us, we put Rainbow on a taxi, and then Barclays wanted to get involved, we put Rainbow on a train. So I started this theme of actually celebrating the LGBT community within London, and it went viral. The following year after that campaign finished, I was approached by the Mayor of London to put some traffic lights in Trafalgar Square, which had been similar ones which had been first appeared in Austria, in Vienna, and then appeared in other capitals. I'd done some work on this previously and was very keen to do it. So I set about on a 6-week mission to create some traffic lights and to do something slightly different from what had been done in other capitals, because rather than just have the images of 2 men, two women together, I also wanted to use gender symbols so that we could have trans people represented.
If it's a cross and a sign of a man and a woman, I'm lost because I forgot which is this and which is that,
So why do they have to use a particular sign on a particular place, right? Just to keep a particular sexual preference in limelight. This is of no use.
My favourite piece of negative feedback I had was from the Mail on Sunday. A famous LGBT support network that we have published a big spread on their 3rd page which says, "What would Nelson say?" And it talked about the PC lights in Trafalgar Square, and quite a negative piece about why do traffic lights just be traffic lights, and pictures of people posingly confused as what to do when you see a green light, and very, very contrived piece of copy. There was a skit between Jeremy Clarkson and his 2 white straight male colleagues, co-presenters, and it was supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, but they were showing the different symbols of the traffic lights, and then they had the trans one, because the trans one is most unique.
What's that one on the right then?
Hello, transgender.
What? So hang on.
What made me laugh about this is you've got 3 white straight men trying to explain diversity. I mean, that just says it all, doesn't it? So I just laugh when I see that skit on Top Gear, because you don't realise what you're doing here, because you're actually just reinforcing the whole point, the fact that this is a very sterile world that we live in, white straight male world we live in.
The LGBT community needs as much representation as they can get. I know that some people think that it's impeaching on everyday life, they don't want to see it or hear about it, but at the end of the day, most straight people don't have to think about that, whereas gay people don't have hardly any exposure in everyday life. So
I think the traffic lights are needed because I like the fact that it's normalising LGBTQ plus relationships, especially if a child were to kind of see that, but kind of go, okay, that's completely normal.
These green lights are now being more celebratory of diversity. And I think it's a fabulous thing, because I think, kids growing up would see in the old days, a man, no woman, no anybody with anybody. And for them to receive these messages from an early age of diversity and acceptance, I think is a fabulous thing.
It is interesting you said. I was talking to a contractor the other day that we brought in to do some training, and they said, "You're the guy that put the traffic lights in?" I said, yes. It says, it's interesting because I come to London very often, but I came here with my kids, and my son asked me, well, why are there two symbols on it? And it sparked a conversation. So when we put the traffic lights in, there was a decision about how long we could do it for. I was convinced that they should stay in for good. Some people at TfL were not. And I worked very hard to make that happen, and I worked with lots of really talented people to make that happen. I'm very pleased that they're still there. I've served my time now for the community, and I'm not saying I'm not going to do any more, but it'd be really nice to see other people step up and to do, particularly young people. Nice to inspire other people to do that, and if people want hints or tips on how to make it happen, I'm always willing to help out, but it's really good for somebody else to start picking up and doing work in this field.